The top stories: an economist says the macroeconomic reform is crucial for government to speed up the nation's economy. And the Chinese counselor asserts that the bilateral cooperation between Ethiopia and China has reached new height. Welcome to EBC World, the voice of Pan-Africanism, with the latest news highlights of the hour. I am Tabitha John. To stay with us, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has called on citizens to gear up for the nationwide tree planting campaign scheduled for August 23, 2024. In his message posted on social media, the Prime Minister noted forests are vital for the planet's health and human well-being. They provide oxygen, store carbon, and regulate the climate, helping to mitigate climate change. Forests are also home to a vast array of biodiversity, offering habitat to millions of species. Let's protect our existing forests and continue increasing our forest coverage by planting, he added. Ethiopia's Ministry of Agriculture and the UN Food and Agricultural Organization FAO signed the regional program on livestock and pastoralism for climate adaptation in the Eastern Horn of Africa region. The program will be implemented in 4 cross-border cluster areas, namely Mandera, Karamoja, Mara Serengeti, and Bahar al-Arab, covering 7 countries: Ethiopia, Kenya, Somalia, South Sudan, Tanzania, and Uganda. Ethiopia is represented in the Mandera and Karamoja clusters. According to the Ministry of Agriculture, this program is funded by the European Union to the tune of 47 million euros, of which 6.25 million euros is for Ethiopia. On the occasion, State Minister of Ministry of Agriculture, Fukru Ragasa, said, "We fight the impact of climate change. Our country is working hard to deal with the effects of climate change, especially in the pastoral area." Ms. Farayazi Zimudzi, FAO representative to Ethiopia, on her part said that this program is in line with FAO's strategic framework of better production, better nutrition, better environment, and better life. A delegation led by Mr. Melaku Alebel, Minister of Industry of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, participated on the 8th BRICS Industry Ministers meeting on August 16, 2024, in Nizhny Novgorod, Russia. The theme of the meeting was strengthening multilateralism for equitable global development and security. On the sidelines of the meeting, Minister Melaku and his delegation had bilateral meetings with Russia's Minister of Trade and Industry, Anton Alikhanov. On the occasion, the two sides agreed to enhance their cooperation in capacity building and promotion of partnership between the prospective private sectors of the two countries. Melaku also held bilateral meetings with Mr. Shin Guobin, the Vice Minister of the Ministry of Industry and Information Technology of the People's Republic of China, and Mr. Fernando Elias Rosa Marcio, the Deputy Minister of Ministry of Industry of the Federative Republic of Brazil. According to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ethiopia, the countries agreed to work together on multilateral issues and create a common platform to boost the industry sector.
በክረምት ከምንጮታቸው ጨዋታዎች በእጅ የእግር ፍግል ለየት ይላል። የቡዬ ገርፍ ክረምት ሲመጣ ከምንወደው አንዱ ጨዋታ ነው። ችቦን የምንፈልገው ሄደን ተጋርፈን ካሸነፍንም ከተሸነፍንም የምናበራው ነው። ያው ኮያውዬ በፊት ችቦን ጋበራን በኋላ ወያውዬ እንላለን።
ከበድ የሚል ግርፍ ሰውነት እንኳን ቢጎል መካሰስ መዋቀስ የለም የፍቅር ነው።
Welcome back. The recent macroeconomic reform decision made by the government is said to be crucial to facilitate production and productivity in a bid to support the nation's economy. Demis Chanyalo, who is an economist, said the macroeconomic reform decision will help the government to build open economy to the nation by accelerating services. Abtamu Ashagre compiles the following report.
The government of Ethiopia is implementing the macroeconomic reform to stimulate the nation's economy by adopting policies and strategies. Talking to BBC English, Demis Chanyalo, who is an economist, said the decision of macroeconomic reform helps the government to facilitate the nation's economy and helping the private sector to play their fair share.
Government is one of the 5 actors in an open economy. And what we expect from the government is not actually to indulge in production, but to facilitate and regulate the production process, the marketing, and the consumption. So the government, by producing the appropriate production, marketing, and consumption policies. And I think this macroeconomic policy has to target on that one, not actually to create a government which wants to involve itself in the production activities per se. It should be left for the private sector, unless and otherwise the private sector has a problem to start that area of production or service provision.
According to the economist, the recent macroeconomic reform made by the government is fulfilling necessary steps to support Ethiopia's economy. He elaborated that it's important to see the impact of the recent macroeconomic reform in the nation's economy within a long period of time.
Always you have to know that in policy change, in policy reforms, there are 4 steps. The first step is understanding that there is a problem. Okay. Then the second thing is, once you know the problem, if it is a policy issue, to formulate the policies. And the third one is to implement them. And the fourth one is to see their impacts. It's a very short duration now to judge. Definitely, they said they have identified what the problem was, and therefore they need policy reform. And they made the policy reform, and they have started to implement it. And we have seen some up and downs in the markets of commodities, price hikes, inflation, and other things. But I think this is a short-time phenomenon till everybody recognizes what the reform means and how to deal with it.
Demis underlined that the government should take its responsibility to create a stable market by implementing a list of activities.
Those who have to work to make prices come to a stable and affordable basis have to work their own assignments. For example, on the government side, they have already declared they will go into subsidizing, particularly on the major commodities like fuel, fertilizer, drugs, medicine, so on and so forth. They have to effectively, apply that. You have seen what is happening in the edible oil area. With the short run, there was a shortage, and because of that, the price hike was too much, partly because of the shortage, partly because of the change in the exchange rate regime.
Exercising short-term solutions are also crucial to create some mindset activities for responsible actors to understand what the recent macroeconomic reform decision is, the economist underlined.
And finally, the Chinese embassy's minister counselor asserted that the bilateral cooperation between Ethiopia and China has reached new heights. Councillor Shen Kin-min reaffirmed the bilateral ties between Ethiopia and China has been further cemented with the all-weather strategic partnership. Goshu Melliso has more from the Ethiopian news agency.
Ethiopia and China enjoy long-standing and historic relations ever since they established formal diplomatic relations in 1970. Talking to Ethiopian news agency, the Chinese embassy minister counselor highlighted that the bilateral ties between Ethiopia and China were strengthened with the all-weather strategic partnership announced during Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's visit to China in October 2023. The minister counselor spelled out that diplomatic cooperation is rapidly expanding in political, economic, trade, investment, and people-to-people ties. He added that their relationship has reached a new level of strategic partnership, further strengthening the comprehensive bond between the two nations.
Last year, President Xi Jinping and Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed Ali, the two leaders, elevated the bilateral relationship to a new high, which is now called all-weather strategic partnership. So our two countries' relations is on the new high. I think that's a historical trend as well. We two countries, two Asian civilizations, we have a lot of bonds, both in terms of political trust, bilateral trade and investment, as well as people-to-people exchanges.
Shin emphasized China's growing partnership with Ethiopia across various sectors and the increasing number of Chinese investors as indicators of the strengthening China-Africa cooperation.
You know, every year, even during the Forex institution reform time, more and more Chinese FDI investors are coming to Ethiopia. For this year, 2024, more Chinese investors are coming into Ethiopia, and more projects has been set up in Ethiopia. That is an embodiment of the spirit of China-Africa cooperation.
He reiterated that the economic reform would bring opportunities that are beneficial not only for FDI, but basically for Ethiopians themselves.
I think this is encouraging news. It's very encouraging. We believe on this solid reform, more opportunity will come. This is mutually beneficial, not only benefit for the foreign FDI investors, but basically, number one beneficiary in this reform is for the Ethiopians themselves, because they got to have a freer market economy, just like China or the other countries.
The upcoming China-Africa summit in September will further elevate Ethio-China relations, reinforcing their unchanging friendship, Shin noted.
You're watching ABC World, a reminder of the top stories. An economist says the macroeconomic reform is crucial for the government to speed up the nation's economy. And the Chinese chancellor asserts that the bilateral cooperation between Ethiopia and China has reached new heights. That's all we had for now. I'm Tabitha Germany. Thanks for watching. Have a good time. Goodbye for now.